Part 43. Super Zoo. Author, Yin Seg Nian Bai. Chapter 421. If there were someone in Nana's room at this time, seeing the scene in front of them, they would definitely get goosebumps. Dozens of big and fat black mosquitoes and flower mosquitoes hovered above Nana's body like a small black cloud. The mosquitoes seemed to be looking for a place to bite, and they seemed to be distributing work. They gathered in the air and hovered for a while, discussing how to divide the work and how to start. Nana on the bed was still sleeping soundly, not aware of the impending danger at all. A few minutes later, the army of mosquitoes suddenly dispersed and slowly landed on all parts of Nana's body. As a poor man who was often harassed by mosquitoes in college, Su Ming knew very well which parts were the most painful to be bitten by mosquitoes. Dozens of mosquitoes performed their duties and quickly landed on the designated attack location. Many mosquitoes even drilled in through the gaps in the quilt. Soon, a layer of black mosquitoes lay on the sleeping Nana, all of them with long and sharp mouths, just waiting for the commander's order. Ready. In the alley, Su Ming stuffed the last bunch of big kidneys into his mouth, pulled out the bare stick, threw it on the ground, stuffed his mouth full, and made a beheading gesture viciously, bite. After receiving the order, dozens of mosquitoes bit at the same time. Su Ming also bit the big kidneys in his mouth fiercely, it was so fragrant. Nana had a dream in her days. In the dream, she had become the most famous anchor in the country. Every day when she went online, thousands of fans would give her gifts crazily, and she bought houses and cars and reached the peak of her life. On this day, she just picked up the Porsche 911 that she had always liked, and stepped on the accelerator. Buzz, buzz. The engine sounded wildly, but the car didn't move at all. What's going on? You're cheating me with a broken car. You don't know who I am, she was furious and yelled at the Ford store. In the Ford store, several clerks who were servile just now suddenly showed a weird smile. Their faces gradually narrowed, their mouths became longer and sharper, a layer of light black hair appeared on their hands, and their suits were stretched open a little bit, revealing two pairs of transparent wings from behind. Several clerks turned into human-shaped mosquitoes, their feet off the ground, flapping their wings, and flying towards her with a grin. Ah! Monster! Nana was so scared that her face turned pale, and goosebumps all over her body. She subconsciously stepped on the accelerator again, trying to drive away from this terrifying place. Buzz buzz buzz, the sound of the accelerator suddenly changed. Mosquitoes, mosquitoes everywhere. Crawling out of the car's dashboard and rushing out of the car's exhaust pipe. The four black tires suddenly melted and dispersed, turning into a large group of black mosquitoes. The black steering wheel and the black leather seats in the car were also made up of countless mosquitoes. They all disintegrated in an instant and turned into a black mass of mosquitoes. In an instant, Nana was surrounded by countless mosquitoes, slowly lifting her into the air. The ears were filled with buzzing sounds, and in front of her were dense mosquito mouths like steel needles. Ah! Nana yelled, woke up from her sleep, and sat up suddenly from the bed. Looking at the dark room, she was sweating profusely and sighed, "Oh, it's a dream, I was scared to death, it turned out to be a dream." But before she could finish her breath, Nana felt a strange itch in the soles of her feet. Most people have this experience. It is the most unlucky to be bitten by mosquitoes on the soles of their feet. It itches even if you don't scratch it. It is simply the most insidious trick of mosquitoes to bite people. Nana grimaced and scratched with her long nails for a few times, her heart was about to burst out. Then, the back under the shoulder blade began to itch again. Although the soles of the feet are insidious, at least they can be scratched, but the area under the shoulder blades on the back is simply helpless. Normal people's arms can't reach this position at all. Nana can only be very unmannerly like a bear, leaning against the bed and rubbing it hard. While rubbing, she also scratched the soles of her feet. She was busy and exhausted, and her chest was even more irritated. Speaking of the chest. Nima. What's going on? Nana was about to cry. Her chest was swollen. The mosquito bites made her look like a biochemical man with pustules. It was so disgusting. I couldn't help scratching with my nails, and this piece of tender flesh was a piercing pain. After waking up, in less than half a minute, Nana's body almost started to itch everywhere, not only the soles of the feet, back, chest, face, stomach, legs, every place with flesh was extremely itchy. She was so frightened that her face turned pale. She rushed to the bathroom, turned on the light and looked at herself in the mirror. Ah, the scream almost blew the roof off the house. The stunning female anchor had completely changed into a different person. She looked like a homeless person who had just run out of a garbage dump. Her body was covered with red spots of all sizes. Her cone-shaped face was particularly creepy. At first glance, it looked like a toad that had experienced nuclear radiation. Its face was uneven and bulging. If you have seen the movie Shaolin Soccer, you will definitely think of the girl played by Zhao Wei, whose face was covered with sores and flies were flying around her. Nana almost collapsed. Itching was secondary now. With this horrible look, she would not be disfigured, would she? She grabbed the floral water with one hand and sprinkled it all over her body desperately. She picked up the phone and cried loudly, "Hello, 120, I was bitten by a mosquito." The other end of the phone was obviously stunned for a moment. This girl was too princess-like. It was just a mosquito bite. Is it necessary to call 120 in the middle of the night? In this hot summer, mosquitoes are everywhere. Jiangjan City has a population of nearly 10 million. Which summer has not been bitten by mosquitoes? If you are bitten by a mosquito, you have to send an ambulance. Even if the hospital is expanded 10,000 times, it can't handle it. Although it was inexplicable, the other party still said in a professional spirit, "Your condition is not suitable for emergency treatment. Please apply some floral water and wind oil on your own. There are so many mosquitoes. I will pay you any price. Come quickly. I feel dizzy. It seems that I am about to be poisoned by mosquitoes." Nana was talking and suddenly felt irritable and wanted to vomit. Wow, she vomited all over the floor. Mosquitoes are indeed poisonous. In the Amazon forest, there are several particularly poisonous mosquitoes that can easily kill people. The group of mosquitoes controlled by Su Ming are mosquitoes near the living area. They do not carry any fatal viruses, and their toxicity is not enough to kill people. However, being bitten by dozens of mosquitoes is unbearable for ordinary people. Dizziness and vomiting are inevitable. Nana may have to stay in the hospital for a short period of time before she can see people again. Super Zoo. Author, Yin Seg Nian Bai. Chapter 422. A large group of mosquitoes sucked blood and flew back with their big bellies. Su Ming had a bad taste and found an empty mineral water bottle, letting all the big black mosquitoes and flower mosquitoes get into it, ready to give it to He Dongqing, let it catch it and fly back to Yangchuan City. Looking at the mineral water bottle full of mosquitoes, Su Ming suddenly thought of the investiture of the gods. It seemed that there was such a magic weapon. Once opened, countless big mosquitoes would come out and suck the enemy's army dry. If this is cultivated with mental power, mosquitoes may be more powerful than wasps in the future. Although wasps are poisonous, the base number of mosquitoes is much larger than that of wasps, and it is difficult to prevent them. The key is that mosquitoes have little intelligence and they don't feel bad when they die, unlike wasps. Now they are like villains. If Su Ming is killed, he will still be a little sad. It's a pity that mosquitoes can only live for one season, their lifespan is too short. Otherwise, if they are specially bred, and it takes 10 years to accumulate tens of trillions of mosquitoes, they will definitely be a killer weapon for massacring cities and destroying countries. Damn it, Why do I want to massacre cities and destroy countries? This is not a history or fantasy novel. Su Ming patted his forehead and started to think about it again. Nana was bitten into a pig head, but it did not prevent the boiling platform from attacking the zoo. The general trend had been established before, and even without Nana's on-site command, this battle was inevitable. Su Ming had just returned to the zoo for less than half a day, and Weibo was already cursing like crazy. The zoo has millions of fans. Even if only 1% of them participated in the battle, there would be tens of thousands of people, and the boiling platform, even more waves of people came to curse, and new combat forces continued to join in. For a while, the two sides played a chess match. If Weibo had temperature, it would definitely be self-ignited. The total number of soldiers that can participate in the war is close to 2 million. Although it is impossible for 2 million people to curse at the same time, the war of words quickly spread through these 2 million people, causing a stir on the internet. Yangchuan City Forum is always browsing the audition information on Douyin Weibo, so it was the first to discover the war of words, and posted a big headline on the same day, "Super big fight, you and me participate." Because it is an official forum, Yangchuan City Forum is not good at speaking in favor of one side, but the two sides of the war of words are the local zoo in Yangchuan City on one side and the enterprises in Jiangjan City, the provincial capital, which competes with Yangchuan City everywhere on the other side. The forum's natural position is to stand on the side of the zoo, and even rise to the level of regional honor. Soon after, major networks also seemed to notice this battle. Baidu has always been afraid of chaos in the world, adding fuel to the fire. Live broadcast platforms are fighting each other, and the war between the people is imminent. Zhihu is a high-end platform that has recently emerged, and likes to talk about everything in depth. Your circle is really chaotic, and there is a capital feast behind the hustle and bustle. NetEase still maintains the pseudo-American style, and issued a Western Internet Development Time and Internet Legislation Improvement Event Table in a vague way, which means that the Internet development in the East is not much slower than that in the West, but the legislation has been slow to catch up, and has been left behind by the West. Some relatively small online media said it more directly. The female anchor provoked a war on the Internet, and her value skyrocketed dozens of times overnight. The zoo exposed the database to prove her innocence. The dispute over the interests of the two live broadcast platforms. The Internet has always been the fastest place for information dissemination, and it is also the most effective. As long as you can access the Internet, you can find the websites of the parties involved with a simple search. As a result, less than half a week later, the zoo's Weibo was in an uproar, and the traffic of both live broadcast platforms increased significantly at the same time. Most of the additional people came to the live broadcast platform out of curiosity after seeing the news. Many people asked the zoo's anchor on the platform what happened. But under Su Ming's deliberate instruction, the zoo's anchors remained silent on the matter. Their energy was all used on making the show. Therefore, some new viewers who came out of curiosity did not get the answers they wanted and left disappointed. And some viewers, from the initial curiosity about the battle, gradually shifted their attention to the zoo program itself and became new fans of the zoo live broadcast platform. Amid the noise, the third, fourth, and fifth episodes of the zoo's I-ended program were launched one after another. The fifth episode invited a young mother from Jiangjan City, who told the story of a golden retriever in her family accompanying her twin sons to grow up. The entire live broadcast platform did not seem to be affected too much by the online war of words, and still launched high-quality programs, which received many praises. Data analysis can best explain the problem. The platform's peak duration ratio, second messages, value creation, and other data have maintained a not so fast but extremely stable momentum, and are slowly increasing. The boiling platform also has huge gains, with a surge in traffic, a surge in new registrations, and a doubling of new rewards in each room every day. In contrast to the calm correspondence of the zoo, almost all rooms on the boiling side are promoting this verbal battle. Driven by huge immediate interests, some anchors even began to directly encourage fans to join the verbal battle and concoct many irresponsible remarks. For a time, countless gossips were flying all over the sky, and the hormones of the entire boiling platform were completely ignited. Every anchor seized this rare opportunity, performing crazily, gossiping crazily, and accepting rewards crazily. Both sides gained something. The zoo added a group of real viewers, while boiling became famous in a short period of time, and the anchors made a lot of money. After the online media made efforts, traditional media, newspapers, and television finally noticed the smoke of war on the internet and began to report. There are still some differences between online reports and traditional media reports. In terms of depth, traditional media reports are generally more in-depth and serious, and rarely fabricate out of thin air. At least, they will not dare to write nonsense like the female anchor who provoked the incident was hospitalized for abortion, suspected of being abandoned by the leader of the zoo live broadcast platform, because of love and deep hatred on the internet. Yang Chuan Daily wanted to interview Su Ming before, but was suppressed by Su Ming. During this period of time, the internet was hotly discussed, and Yang Chuan Daily once again requested an interview. At the same time, Yang Chuan TV and several other newspapers in the province also requested an interview. The object of their interview was not only the zoo, but also the boiling platform. When facing online media, the two live broadcast platforms had opposite attitudes. Zoo treated it coldly, while boiling platform was unusually high profile. When facing interviews from traditional media, the two live broadcast platforms once again showed completely different attitudes. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Super Zoo. Author, Yin Seg Nian Bai. Chapter 423. Faced with interviews from traditional media, the attitudes of Daowin Entertainment live broadcast platform and Boiling Sports live broadcast platform unexpectedly made a 180-degree turn. Boiling Sports is very low-key. For interviews with any traditional media, the answers are almost the same. First, the live broadcast platform does not incite the audience to abuse on the internet. The platform cannot control the spontaneous behavior of the audience and can only call on everyone to exercise restraint. Second, if some anchors make inappropriate remarks during the live broadcast, Boiling platform will definitely warn and correct them. Third, we hope to have a dialogue with the zoo, and both parties will negotiate amicably to solve the problem together. Daowin Entertainment live broadcast platform has changed its previous gentle attitude and become shockingly powerful. Instead of accepting a separate interview, a press conference was held at the Hilton Hotel in Yangchuan City, which any media across the country could attend. There can be no dialogue. Facing reporters' questions, Su Ming spoke in a tough tone and directly rejected the proposal of boiling athletics. There were not many reporters present. After all, in the final analysis, it is just an online scolding war, and it is not a big international news. It is not even as good as the news about the marriage of domestic first-line stars. There will definitely not be too many media. In the huge conference hall, there are only a few scattered 7 people. 8 media people. But as soon as Su Ming said this, the whole audience started to coax and started talking about it. There are only permanent interests in the market, and there are no permanent friends or enemies. There are many situations where you can sit down and talk and laugh even though you were beaten to a bloody head yesterday. It's not just shopping malls, it's politics too. A mature businessman and politician should never say such decisive words. Even if US imperialism is dealing with a thorn like North Korea, it is impossible to directly say such cruel words as "I will never talk to you." If you are not honest, you will be bombed. There will always be a slight leeway. We hope the other party can calm down, sit back at the negotiating table, and solve the problem. If it cannot be solved, we will treat you again. The words that resounded throughout the hall sounded powerful, but in fact they were immature and brought too much personal emotion, like a child saying out of anger, "I will never play with you again." Completely breaking the rules. Mr. Su, I heard that this online scolding war was caused by a resigned female anchor, and the zoo has already provided evidence to clarify its innocence. A reporter from Gyeongjin City asked puzzledly, then why can't the two platforms sit down and resolve the misunderstanding? He is from Gyeongjin City. In his words, he is a little biased towards the companies in Gyeongjin City. He smiled and said, "I seem to feel a lot of prejudice from your words. Are you personally dissatisfied with Boiling Platform?" These words were a trap. If Su Ming admitted this, he would first be at a disadvantage in terms of logic. But Su Ming was completely unaware. Not only did he admit it, he also admitted it neatly. "Yes, I am not only dissatisfied with Boiling Platform, I even think that comparing Daewon Entertainment and Boiling Live is an insult to Daewon Entertainment. Therefore, any enterprise or company under my name, including Daewon Entertainment and the zoo's live broadcast platform, I will never have any contact with Boiling. Are you satisfied with this, my journalist friend?" Su Ming asked with a smile. If Su Ming's first words surprised the reporters, then this sentence was a shock. The reporters with a keen sense of smell immediately realized that Mr. Su was completely serious about causing trouble. It's better to do something big. A reporter from Yangchuan TV station stood up and followed Su Ming's words and asked, "Mr. Su, can you explain in detail what the reason is?" "I don't need to say it yet. Let's do it this way, Gong Shen. You can play a few live broadcasts from our two live broadcast platforms and show them to all the reporters sitting next to you. After everyone has finished watching the video, I will come back to answer." Su Ming stood up. He patted Anna Shen on the shoulder. The lights in the hall slowly dimmed, and two videos appeared on the large projection screen, one on the left and one on the right. On the left is the most ordinary live broadcast from the zoo. A sunny and energetic female host is introducing the characteristics and legends of the kindling golden monkeys to the audience, telling the current survival status of the golden monkeys, and interacting with the golden monkeys from time to time. On the right, there is a live broadcast. A scantily clad female anchor is posing in front of the screen and making various indecent movements. After playing several videos in succession, Anna Shen turned off the projection. After watching several live broadcast videos, the reporters already understood why Su Ming said he was ashamed to be associated with Boil. Everyone could see clearly just now that the live broadcast on the Boiling Platform, regardless of whether it was illegal or not, was definitely unhealthy, at least not suitable for minors to watch. Although many domestic live broadcast platforms are using this method to attract viewers, this issue has never been raised openly in front of reporters in public like this without mercy. This is a naked fight. From today on, the two families are considered to have a deadly feud. Either they will boil down Daewon, or Daewon will be boiled down. The illegal behavior of boiling has become a settled matter. Gyeongjin City reporters decided not to dwell on the issue of boiling. Instead, they changed their angle and asked tactfully, "Director Su, you seem to have promoted yourself as a moral model just now. Then I think, excuse me, have you never seen When You Were So Old?" The reporter from Yangchuan City TV station was Nangong Yan's friend, and of course he was looking towards Su Ming. When he heard this question, he quickly winked at Su Ming. This problem is a big pitfall. If Su Ming said, "I haven't seen it," he would immediately become a hypocrite, and even his fans who supported him in the past might turn from fans to passers-by or even turn haters. What a joke, who among the young people these days hasn't seen it? Especially a young man, if he says he hasn't seen it, no one would believe it. But if he admits to having seen it, then Su Ming just used the video comparison to prove that the live broadcast of Daewon platform is more noble than that of Phi Teng platform, and stood on the moral high ground to accuse Phi Teng platform. That would be a bit unreasonable. You have seen it. Compared with it, what is the little fight of Fiteng platform? Is it necessary to make such a big deal? Pure hypocrisy. Although he looks well dressed on the surface, isn't he also full of thieves, prostitutes, and butterflies? If he answered that he had seen it, he would be a hypocrite, and if he hadn't seen it, he would be a hypocrite. The hall became quiet, and the eyes of the reporters were all focused on Su Ming, to see how he would answer. Su Ming lowered his eyes slightly, as if he was considering. After a moment, he raised his eyelids and looked at the reporter from Jiangjan City who asked the question, and said with a smile, "As a professional writer, you made several basic logical errors in just one short sentence." Super Zoo. Author, Yin Seg Nian Bai. Chapter 424. Journalists are all about words. If you want to accuse a reporter of having a problem, you can say that his outlook is incorrect, or you can point out that he does not see the problem deeply enough and is superficial, or you can even criticize him with heart-wrenching remarks. Points of view are 50 cents or cents, which is a wash, but in any case, few people would say that journalists make the most basic logical errors. This is like blaming the Chinese teacher for typos, or the math professor for not knowing the 99 multiplication table, and arguing with the other party in their most specialized field. What's more, Su Ming is a businessman with a background in natural sciences. He actually accused a top liberal arts student of having logical problems or several logical problems in public, which surprised the reporters present. This Mr. Su came prepared today and is going to go crazy. The reporter from Jiangjan City who was accused of having a problem with his logic had been speaking out for Boiling Live before. That was because Boiling Live was a company in Jiangjan City, and his butt determined his head. He had a natural position and was not related to Su Ming or the zoo. Personal conflict, but the reporter was a little annoyed when Su Ming criticized his professionalism in public. Then I would like to ask Mr. Su, what are the logical problems in my sentence? The reporter asked back without showing any signs of weakness. He just asked Su Ming if he had seen short movies. This question was actually very representative. Most people will feel this way. You have watched countless short movies in private, and now you jump out and point at others. Isn't this a typical hypocrite, engaging in moral kidnapping and firing from the commanding heights? Other reporters also pointed their cameras and recording devices at the podium, wanting to hear how Mr. Su justified himself. Su Ming was not in a hurry to answer. Instead, he was in no hurry. He waited for all the equipment in the room to be pointed at him and the reporters to be ready before he spoke slowly. You asked me if I had watched. It seems to be the same thing as the topic we are discussing today, but in fact, it has nothing to do with it. Your biggest mistake is to confuse personal behavior with corporate behavior and confuse morality and legal boundaries. In the hall, Su Ming's calm but powerful voice sounded. As an individual, as long as you don't spread it, it's a private matter. Whether you watch it or not has nothing to do with moral laws. I won't think that person is morally corrupt just because someone watches it at home, nor can I think that person is morally corrupt just because someone doesn't watch it. I think this person is noble, and as a live broadcast platform for the whole society, there are obviously two problems in conducting live broadcasts of the kind of content you just saw. Su Ming was not in a hurry and said, "First, operate with integrity." Without saying a word, the audience started talking in low voices. Isn't this Mr. Su too capable? When he thought he was going to talk about legal issues, why did he have to do with honest management? For example, if you are going to buy clothes for your son and walk into a children's clothing store, you find that almost all the items sold inside are adult women's underwear, but the outside is branded as a children's clothing store. Is this dishonest? The same is true for live broadcasts. Boiling Live Broadcasting Platform provides live broadcasts of competitive games, but how much time does competitive games account for in the actual live broadcast? Listening to what he said, it seemed to be the truth. It was selling itself off like a sheep, using the guise of a competitive live broadcast, but the content was about female anchors showing off their coquettishness. Of course, it worked well, the audience liked it, and the platform made money. But just because the results are good, it doesn't mean it's honest. Then the second point is a legal issue. Su Ming looked solemn and said in a deep voice, "I can now answer the reporter's question. I have personally seen. According to national laws, I am alone at home. Look, it's not illegal. However, in the few clips you just saw, there are even 4 or 5 explicit videos. According to our country's existing laws, I can find many more videos like this. Whether it's illegal or not, I don't need to say anything else." He stared at the reporter and said word by word, "Individuals and public media, law and morality, these logics are very clear and the truth is very simple. I don't know, my journalist friend, if you really don't understand, or if you mean it. Confusing information." The reporter had nothing to say, of course he meant it. Anna Shen spoke at the right time. "Dear journalists, Daowin Entertainment has collected about 100 video recordings and reported boiling platform to the relevant departments for spreading unhealthy content." This sentence is like a bombshell. The reporters looked at each other in shock. No one could have imagined that a mere online scolding war would turn into a fight to the death. Reporting to the state has always been unpopular with ordinary people and colleagues. In traditional Chinese culture, whistleblowers are suspected of being traitors. Daowin platform is completely willing to take risks this time. It would rather lose both sides than boiling platform. Total collapse. The hall was deathly silent. The reporters were filled with Anna Shen's words. They even ignored Su Ming's accusation about the professionalism of reporters from Jiangjin Daily. Many thoughts passed through their minds in an instant. What is the deep hatred between these two live broadcast platforms that has forced it to come to this point? I know what everyone is thinking. Su Ming's calm voice sounded again, and the reporters raised their heads, expecting Su Ming to tell the truth. Although there was a war of words, the zoo's reputation has also increased, and it has not suffered any loss. Everyone makes a living from live broadcasting. So what is the hatred? Why do I have to be a traitor in this industry? I also know that in the eyes of many people, this is not a big deal. There are so many illegal things. I am just meddling in other people's business. The reporters were even more curious. It seems that you have a clear mind. Why do you do this? After all, everyone wants to make money. Do you need to package Daowin Entertainment like a saint? I never want to flaunt morality, and I will not stand on the moral height to accuse others. In business, I can tell you clearly that the main reason why Daowin's platform reported it is very simple: it is a commercial counterattack. If you pay attention to the whole process, you will find that after the first verbal battle on the Daowin Entertainment live broadcast platform, Daowin Entertainment, Zoo, from the leadership to every anchor, were extremely restrained, and I immediately contacted the leader of Fei Teng, hoping to solve the problem peacefully. At that time, the other party told me that they would take it seriously and deal with it seriously to avoid conflicts between the two sides. Well, Shen Yan, later, you can send the recording of my call with Director Zhang of Fei Teng to all reporters. Su Ming changed the subject and sneered, "And what did our goodwill get in return?" It was a larger-scale Weibo massacre, and the Fei Teng live broadcast platform indulged more viewers to abuse Daowin Entertainment, affecting the normal operation of our live broadcast. I would like to ask, can the other party adopt malicious competition, and I can't use legal weapons to protect myself? I don't think so. Super Zoo. Author, Yin Seg Nian Bai. Chapter 425. Su Ming's words left the reporters speechless. If Daowin was engaging in moral kidnapping and pointing out that Fei Teng was immoral, although there was nothing to say on the surface, it would inevitably be criticized in private. But the ruthlessness of the bachelor was not hidden at all. He directly stated that this was commercial revenge, and he used the law, an open conspiracy, which made people speechless. Come to think of it, the Feiteng platform attacked Douyin Entertainment, so shouldn't they fight back? However, the strength of this counterattack was too great. With so many solid live videos as evidence, the Feiteng platform might suffer a disaster this time. But Douyin Entertainment's live broadcast platform did not completely avoid paying a price. As the first bird to come out, the live broadcast platforms across the country will inevitably regard Douyin Entertainment as an alien and a scourge, and even join forces to isolate Douyin Live, leaving it with no place in the industry. But on second thought, Douyin live streaming platform and other live streaming platforms have taken completely different routes from the beginning. Even if they are isolated by other platforms, it seems that there is no big impact. The scene was quiet for a moment. The reporters present had their own thoughts and were working their brains quickly, absorbing the massive amount of information conveyed in this press conference. The female reporter from Yangchuan TV station who was familiar with Nangong Yan also knew Su Ming. Su Ming sometimes accompanied Nangong and invited their friends from the TV station to dinner. The two met several times. She suddenly raised her head and looked at Su Ming with doubts. Could it be that all this was planned by Su Ming? From the beginning of the war of words, forbearance, boiling and further exaggerating the scale of the war of words, all major media reported overnight, until today's press conference, the whole process of the brewing and fermentation of the incident seemed to have an invisible hand behind it, step by step pushing a small matter to such an irreversible point. Today, public opinion was noisy, and then suddenly broke out, and the last blow of the bayonet was bloody. It is certain that although it was two companies that fought with bayonets, the only one that really saw blood or was stabbed to death was definitely Boiling Live. Because the bayonet in Douyin Company's hand was 100 GB of solid evidence, and behind it was the magnificent national law. Moreover, Su Ming is not weaker than Boiling in terms of financial resources or background, and even more so. If he attacked at this time, Boiling would be in danger. Thinking of this, the female reporter looked at Su Ming with a little awe and even a little admiration. She thought that Nangong, her boyfriend, was always smiling when chatting at parties, like a big boy who didn't know anything. I didn't expect that he would be so ruthless in big things. No wonder he built a big family business from scratch in just 1 year. It was definitely not a fluke. Nangong's life is too good. The female reporter thought a little depressedly, I have everything I want, and I am no worse than Nangong. Why haven't I met such a man? Either they are young people with no money, no career, and only know how to talk nonsense, or they are old men with money and wives. Are all the good men who are rich, young, and considerate to their girlfriends dead these days? Oh no, there is one on the stage, but unfortunately he has been taken. The female reporter's guess was half right. Su Ming didn't want to make a fuss at first, until he heard the conversation between Nana and other anchors, and then he made a decision to make the matter as big as possible. Anyway, Boiling is illegal, and no matter how big the fuss is, he will not suffer any loss. Mr. Su, you just said that the main reason is commercial counterattack, so is there any secondary reason? A reporter suddenly asked. Su Ming smiled, I didn't want to say it, but since you asked, I can read you an email. What's going on? The reporters were almost confused by this young CEO. From the beginning, he didn't play according to the routine. He threw out accidents one after another, completely dominating the direction of the press conference, making these professional reporters follow his thinking. What is the purpose of this email that popped up now? At this press conference, the reporters were not as strong as usual. The situation was always dominated by Su Ming. They could only follow Su Ming's rhythm like puppets. Shen Yan retrieved an email from the computer, and Su Ming cleared his throat and read it out. Hello, Mr. Su, I am a loyal viewer of your live broadcast platform. Recently, something happened that bothered me. Since I watched the live broadcast, My 9-year-old son also started to watch various live broadcasts on the internet. Sometimes he told me that there were older sisters playing games with him online. I didn't pay attention at first, but last week, I accidentally saw the live broadcast my son watched. I realized that there were too many unhealthy things on the platform he entered, at least not suitable for spreading things to minors. I explained to my son that the animal live broadcast I watched was different from the one he watched, but my son was too young to watch it. Understand, think I can watch the live broadcast, but don't let him watch it? I can only make an agreement with him. From now on, Mom doesn't watch the live broadcast, and you don't watch it either. So from now on, I may no longer watch the zoo's live broadcast. Thank you very much for the happy time brought by the Zoo and Darwin Company, and hope that your platform will get better and better. A very helpless mother. Snap, Su-Ming closed the laptop, his eyes swept across the faces of the reporters in the hall, and said lightly, "This minor reason is for the mother who wrote this email. Thank you everyone, the press conference is over." After that, he strode out of the hotel lobby. After the press conference, the content of the press conference was immediately transmitted back to the units where the reporters were located in the form of photos, on-site audio and video recordings, etc. In the news industry, different units and reporters have the habit of exchanging intelligence with each other. Many news units that did not attend the press conference also obtained first-hand information from brother units in the same industry with whom they had a good relationship. The live broadcast platform is a new thing that has emerged in recent years. It is itself a focus of widespread attention. The direct fuse of this press conference was the fight between the two live broadcast companies, which is another good news point. At the end of the press conference, the CEO of one of the companies changed his implicit style in the impression of ordinary people and spoke fiercely. The news media influences the direction of public opinion. Some things whose truth is unclear may be reported inaccurately, but because the Darwin platform has produced solid evidence, it is clear that it is well prepared. After watching the live broadcast videos of the two platforms, the direction of public opinion became one-sided overnight, and major media also published articles to accuse the boiling platform. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Super Zoo. Author, Yin Seg Nian Bai. Chapter 426. Just like a dam releasing flood water, a series of preparations need to be made before releasing the flood water. Once the momentum is ready, just press the gate switch lightly, and the flood will surge down, destroying all the targets in front of it. Shortly after this press conference, the local regulatory authorities conducted a special investigation into the suspected violations of boiling live. Nana, who was recovering at Jiangjin People's Hospital, was also invited to the office of Boiling Company with injuries to cooperate with the investigation. The boiling platform announced that the live broadcast system was upgraded and the live broadcast was suspended. At the same time, it took this opportunity to conduct an internal work summary and improve a series of rules and regulations to better serve the audience in the future. Su-Ming learned the results of the handling from some channel. The female anchor Nana was suspected of violating the rules, was included in the anchor blacklist, and was banned by the boiling platform. Although it seems that only Fiteng has banned her, at most she can switch to another live broadcast platform to continue to be a live broadcaster, but in fact it is not that simple. This circle is so small. The conflict between Fiteng and Darwin Live has been a hot topic. The whole circle knows that it was caused by this female anchor who fanned the flames. Besides, Nana has been blacklisted. It is estimated that no platform will take the risk to hire this troublemaker. In addition, Zhang Dongliang, a director of Fiteng, was directly responsible for the leadership and was transferred from Fiteng. The live broadcast management manual of Fiteng is not perfect, and the management methods need to be further refined to ensure the provision of healthy live broadcast programs. Su Ming was quite satisfied with the result of the incident. He was passive this time and did not intend to gain any benefits from this incident. He just didn't want to be smeared. It is enough to deal with the main responsible persons and drive them out of this industry. Daowin Company will still be in this circle in the future. He doesn't want to completely destroy the Fiteng platform, making other units in the circle feel sad and dissatisfied with Daowin Live. The results are very good now, just enough to stop. The new Daowin Live has slightly exposed its fangs in the industry and has established a firm foothold. At the same time, it has also given many top platforms an impression from the side that Daowin Live's main business is live broadcasting animals, which does not constitute competition for them. However, this incident has reminded Su Ming the problem of employee management. There are more and more companies, and the companies are getting bigger and bigger. There are many employees in several units under the name of wineries, entertainment companies, zoos, etc., and the number of employees will only increase in the future. There must be a teacher among 3 people. There are more than 100 people, and there are all kinds of birds in the forest. With the increase in the number of employees, the management of employees has become a major problem facing the development of enterprises. At present, each company under the name, of course, has its own rules and regulations. When Su Ming took office at the zoo, he proposed system construction. When he talked with Su Desheng about the unhealthy trends in the construction team, he also carried out a series of rectifications and even specially established relevant systems. But any system cannot be 100% perfect. For example, in the event of the anchor resigning, after the resignation, the original system of the platform is invalid for the resigned personnel. There are many reasons for employees to resign. Some are that some employees are really not suitable for the position, violate major regulations, and must be dismissed, such as the previous female anchor, and some are various personal reasons. But from the overall point of view, the company has people coming in and out, old people leaving, new people coming. It is inevitable that new people will be metabolized. No matter how good the company's welfare benefits are, how approachable the leaders are, and how promising the development prospects are, this will not change. Employees who have worked in the company have a much deeper understanding of the company than outsiders. Employees in many positions even master the company's core business secrets, such as finance and computer information administrators. Their understanding of the company, in some details, is deeper than Su Ming, the boss. The company's middle-level cadres have a deep understanding of the company's operating mechanism, characteristics, and future development direction. Once these people speak and act inappropriately, it will cause serious harm to the company. To put it more exaggeratedly, knowing yourself and the enemy will ensure victory in 100 battles. If these people want to deal with the company in turn, even Su Ming will find it difficult. How to ensure that employees who leave the company do not harm the interests of the company while protecting their own legal rights and interests. Su Ming called Wang Hao and several company leaders together for a meeting. All company employees, as well as new employees to be recruited in the future, must sign an agreement with the company. The specific content of this agreement includes several items such as confidentiality and prevention of malicious competition. Su Ming proposed a general direction, mainly to ensure that employees, whether they are in office or after leaving, shall not disclose company secrets to third parties or maliciously slander the company. In particular, for the words and deeds after leaving the company, more detailed requirements were made. If they violate the law, the company should have the right to pursue their responsibilities and make claims. The specific details will be discussed and agreed upon at the meeting, and submitted to the company's lawyers for review. After confirming that they do not conflict with existing laws, the final draft will be finalized. Within 1 week, the company's existing employees must sign the full agreement supplement. In the future, it will be extended as a routine. When new employees join, they will sign it together with the labor contract. In fact, Su Ming knew very well that it would be difficult to fully achieve the goal with just an agreement. The so-called agreement is just a piece of paper after all. If someone is really determined to violate it, the agreement cannot stop him. But the results are completely different with or without an agreement. After signing the agreement, if there is a similar incident like the resigned female anchor spreading rumors and slandering again, the company can legally demand compensation from the other party according to the agreement, and it is a considerable amount of compensation, which increases the cost of the resigned employees, deliberately damaging the interests of the company. Constrained from an economic perspective. The reason why Nana dared to slander Darwin Live unscrupulously is because, in her opinion, there is no need to pay any cost at all. Slander is slander, scold is scold. Even if Darwin Entertainment cannot be hit in the end, she herself has no loss, and she also gets her mouth off at the same time, without paying any price at all. But if she had signed this agreement at the beginning, before doing this, I am afraid she would have weighed whether it was worth it. But claiming compensation is not the real purpose. The greatest significance of concocting this agreement and letting everyone sign it is to prevent and cultivate employees' awareness of keeping company secrets and safeguarding the interests of the company. After all, the case of the former female anchor deliberately slandering the company is rare. In most cases, employees leak the company's business secrets unintentionally, without even realizing it. In units like wineries, the cultural quality of employees is generally not high. After a few sips of wine, they dare to say anything and have no psychological burden. Signing this agreement is equivalent to reminding everyone to say what should be said and not to say what should not be said. After the meeting, Su Ming received a call from Wang Jianxi. What? I am the vice president. Super Zhu. Author, Yin Seg Nian Bai. Chapter 427. Wang Jianxi told Su Ming about the general situation. Everything has both positive and negative sides. There are negative examples, and of course there are positive images. The boiling live broadcast platform incident has now been determined, the truth is clear, and there is no fear of saying the wrong thing. After condemning the boiling platform, the media quickly shifted their focus to Darwin Live Broadcast, and promoted Darwin Company as a positive example. Since the establishment of the live broadcast platform, Su Ming has always insisted on taking the green and sunny road, and would rather sacrifice part of the short-term profits to ensure that the live broadcast is on the right path. This is not only the positioning need of the zoo, but also the social responsibility that must be undertaken by the development of the enterprise, laying the foundation for future strength and expansion. Now it seems that this move is right. Not only did Su Ming make the right move, but other zoos across the country also benefited greatly from it. They followed the Darwin Live platform to run their own animal live broadcasts. The style of the platform was of course to imitate the Yangchuan Zoo and Darwin Live. In the past, Darwin Live was the only one that could stand out, but now with the negative example of boiling live, other zoos' live broadcast platforms also followed Darwin Live and made a splash, standing out in the domestic live broadcast industry. In the news reports, among all the live broadcast platforms across the country, a group of zoo live broadcast platforms headed by Yangchuan Zoo were named and praised, and established as the model of live broadcast. All zoos have also received various forms of awards from their superiors, which has increased their own popularity. After this incident, all the domestic live broadcast platforms have realized that the online live broadcast industry, a new economic growth point, is still in a relatively rough development mode. As industry practitioners, from a long-term perspective, it is necessary to establish a special association to jointly formulate an industry convention recognized by everyone as a link between companies, strengthen exchanges, enhance feelings, and make common progress. Su Ming smiled at the following paragraph, which is really lingering. This time, Darwin Live and Fiteng platform had a fierce battle. In the end, Fiteng Live was completely defeated and almost injured, and Darwin Live did not actually get any real benefits. Neither side of the war benefited, but instead caused a major earthquake in the entire live broadcast industry. Every company was a little panicked, and seeing Fiteng suffer, people on other platforms couldn't help but think that maybe one day it would be their turn. Whether it is being a person or doing business, there are several realms. The highest realm is to benefit others and oneself, which is called win-win. People who can reach this realm are definitely the most popular. The second level is to benefit oneself without harming others, and to make a fortune quietly. Others are jealous at most. The third level is to harm others and benefit oneself. Such people are the most annoying and annoying. They offend everyone, but after all, they can still benefit themselves. Although there are differences in the grades of the above three levels, they are still within the normal range. Among businessmen, there are all three types, which can be called experts, capable people and bad people. The fourth level is called harming others without benefiting oneself, and the fifth level is called harming others and harming oneself. These two behaviors are completely incomprehensible and can be called stupid people and retarded. In business, you can be an expert, a capable person, or a bad person, but you can't be a stupid person or a retarded person. Each company established this association. The second half of the sentence actually means that what is the benefit? Everyone makes money together. If there are conflicts, through this association, there is also an opportunity to sit down and talk properly. Don't do it like before, where live broadcast platforms fight live broadcast platforms and engage in fearless internal consumption. This association is similar to the Yangchuan Fisheries Federation. They are all spontaneous and have no president. Leading figures and well-known people in the industry are publicly elected as vice presidents. As a model soldier, the boss of Daowin Entertainment Company and the deputy director of the zoo, Su Ming was elected as one of the three vice presidents of the association. There is nothing wrong with being the vice president. From Su Ming's point of view, he very much recognizes the original intention of the association. This time, he was provoked by boiling, and he was forced to fight. The means were so fierce that even he himself didn't like it. It is true that doing business is harmonious and making money. It is true that peers are enemies, but there are also a lot of cooperation opportunities among peers. Even if you want to fight, there is no need to use such a fierce way to get to the point of life and death. In the final analysis, the cause was a small matter. The conflict was aggravated by the constant instigation of some individuals. If there was an opportunity, the real leaders of the two companies would sit down and talk face to face, and perhaps it would not have come to this point today. The Live Broadcast Association will be officially established next month. There will be a celebration ceremony in the capital, and a seminar will be held to formulate relevant industry conventions and systems. This is a bit troublesome. This meeting will definitely not be completed in 1 or 2 days. It is entirely possible to hold it for 10 days or half a month. Su Ming has no time for this. Recently, he has been nervous and is preparing to play around. Thinking of the person who was talking to him on the other end of the phone, Su Ming had an idea and said, "Leader, how about this? The general manager of Daowin Entertainment Company is Wang Hao. I will let Wang Hao bring technical personnel to attend the meeting on my behalf," Su Ming asked. "Ha ha ha, Xiao Su, you can make the decision on this matter." Wang Jianxi laughed happily on the phone and said, "However, Wang Hao is still young after all, and he is not as stable as you. Before he goes to the meeting, you have to give him more guidance." "Understood." Su Ming nodded. Without Wang Jianxi's instructions, Su Ming also had a few important things to tell Wang Hao in advance, which was considered a little aftermath of the live broadcast storm and a perfect ending. In addition, there is good news. During this period, your spiritual civilization work has been carried out very well. The live broadcast platform is very colorful, especially the I and it column, which warms people's hearts and sets a new trend. The city is preparing to award the zoo and Daowin Entertainment with the collective title of Advanced Civilization. You can report one quota from the 2 units to be selected as the model of spiritual civilization construction in the city. Well, okay, Su Ming thought about it and probably had already decided on the candidate in his mind. Wang Jianxi called today to announce the good news, one after another. In theory, the Live Broadcast Association is a spontaneous organization of various companies, and Wang Jianxi should not notify Su Ming. But Wang Jianxi still had something to tell Su Ming, so he called and explained both things. Daowin Live has brought honor to Yangchuan City. Through a series of distinctive programs, it has well completed the task of spiritual civilization construction assigned by Wang Jianxi. At the same time, it has initially established the cultural image of the zoo. It now has sufficient conditions to apply to be a 3A scenic spot. Super Zoo. Author, Yin Seg Nian Bai. Chapter 428. 3A scenic spot. Su Ming's first reaction was to pout in disdain. It sounded like his whole class was lowered. Among the many tourist attractions in China, the most well-known ones are basically 5A scenic spots. There are so many of them that I have never heard of even many 4A ones. The zoo has been busy for so long, and it just got a 3A. But Su Ming was still a little dissatisfied. This 3A scenic spot seemed a little too frustrated. It was no different from not applying for a rating. You have to eat one bite at a time and walk one step at a time. If you take too big a step, you will easily get hurt. Wang Jianxi seemed to be in a good mood and even made a vulgar joke on the phone. There are indeed many 4A and 5A scenic spots, and there are hundreds of them in the country. But it does not mean that 4A and 5A are so well rated. Seeing others take advantage of others, when it comes to yourself, comparing Yangchuan Zoo with those 5A scenic spots, you are really not as good as them. Just to name a few examples, the scenic spots that can be rated as 4A and 5A have advantages that the zoo cannot currently compare with. Either it is a Chinese cultural relic, such as the Forbidden City, which is a collection of Chinese civilization for thousands of years, the efforts of countless people, and the residence of several generations of emperors. Strictly speaking, it is no longer a tourist attraction, but a heavy historical accumulation. Or it is the wonders of nature, such as the 5 mountains Huangshan and several large inland lakes, which are the wonders of nature in themselves. They have been brewed by heaven and earth for tens of millions of years and are the place where the spiritual energy of heaven and earth gathers. They have been famous all over the world since ancient times and have left many legends. In addition to their natural significance, they have also invested a lot of manpower and material resources in the later period to develop them. Of course, it is not ruled out that a small number of 5A attractions have appeared in recent years and are artificially created, but some of these places are the economic pillar industries of a region and have received great support. Although the economic benefits of the zoo have soared, it is far from being the economic pillar of Yangchuan City. Some have invested huge amounts of money and have formed well-known brands. Disney Park is a representative. Although it cannot be said to have a long history, it is world famous. The investment in any Disney park in any city is calculated in billions as the basic unit. How can Yangchuan Zoo compare? If the whole zoo is sold together, it will only be a fraction of the price of Disney Ocean Park. As far as zoos are concerned, there are no 5A zoos in the country, and the highest is only 4A. Thinking of this, Su Ming felt much more balanced. Designated as a 3A scenic spot, although the grade is not high, the benefits are real. Once the grades are divided, the external publicity effect will be improved. For example, a family is going to travel, and without knowing it, a 5A scenic spot is still an unknown attraction, and most people will definitely choose 5A. Of course, the higher the grade, the better the effect. The publicity effect of 5A is definitely better than 3A, but 3A is generally better than no grade. At the same time, famous scenic spots will become a local tourist signboard. The higher the grade, the greater the government's support, supporting facilities construction, tax subsidies, and publicity efforts will be tilted. To give the simplest example, if the zoo can be selected as a 5A tourist scenic spot, the municipal government may build a road directly from the airport and railway station to the zoo. If it is well managed, when the next station and airport need to be rebuilt, it will even give priority to selecting a site around the zoo. If you want to be rich, build roads first. This is even more true for tourist attractions. If Suming had to pay for the construction of several kilometers, dozens of kilometers, or even dozens of kilometers of standard roads, not to mention whether the policy allows it, it would cost him half his life financially. Xiao Su, you have to pay attention to the problem of scenic spots. The city is undergoing economic development transformation. Yangchuan City is close to the river and backed by mountains. In the future, tourism will become a major economic pillar, Wang Jianxi said in a deep voice. It is not uncommon in the country to use the power of the entire city to support a scenic spot. Many places have simply developed by relying on the tourism industry. For example, the ancient city of Lijiang was originally a backward small place. After vigorously developing the tourism industry, it became a famous scenic spot in the country and even the world in less than a few years, supporting the local economy. First apply for a 3A, and then apply for 4A and 5A in the future. It will be a matter of course. I will let Lao He contact you for the specific application work, Wang Jianxi said. Lao He is director he who went to the hospital to visit Zhou Jin's condition. Zhou Jin thought he could rely on Lao He to help him deal with Suming, but Lao He ignored Zhou Jin. Later, Wang Jianxi was promoted, and he took over Wang Jianxi's job. Recently, he was transferred to the Tourism Bureau as director. I will definitely cooperate with Director He, Suming said with a smile. Less than 2 hours after he finished talking to Wang Jianxi on the phone, Director He of the Tourism Bureau came to the door in person with his secretary. As soon as he entered the door, Lao He came over with a smile on his face and shook hands with Suming enthusiastically. This surprised Suming. Even if the zoo had not been restructured, his rank was lower than Lao He, so he should take the initiative to greet Lao He. Director, please come over here and sit in my office. In the director's office at the end of the corridor, Suming made a cup of tea for Director He and said with a smile, Director He, why did you come here in person? What materials do you need for the application? Just make a phone call and we will cooperate. When Vice Mayor Wang was in the bureau, he was very concerned about your zoo. I also learned a lot about your situation and wanted to come and see it with my own eyes. To be honest, the development speed of the zoo this year is really amazing. No wonder Vice Mayor Wang valued you. Now your zoo is a well-known unit. I dare not say in other departments, but in our tourism bureau, Yangchuan City Zoo is definitely a major focus of our work. It is normal for me, the director of the bureau, to come here in person, Lao He smiled. Don't worry, leader, the zoo will fully cooperate with the work of the tourism bureau and will never embarrass you, Suming nodded. I am not worried about this. It is said that Director Su is a person who can create miracles, and his performance is the best proof. This time I came mainly to assist you in preparing the materials for applying for a 3A scenic spot. The zoo should hurry up and try to get it within this year. Wait until next year, and then evaluate it as a 4A, Lao He said. Can't we go directly to 4A? Suming asked tentatively. Although he knew that being rated 3A was already very good, Suming still felt that it was a bit like chicken ribs, tasteless to eat and a pity to throw away, and it really didn't make much sense. There were a lot of 3A scenic spots in the country, and even 4A. The zoo currently did not dare to expect to be a 5A scenic spot, but if possible, it would be better to directly rate it as a 4A scenic spot to save time and energy. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Super Zoo. Author, Yin Seg Nian Bai. Chapter 429. 3A is neither good nor bad, it is tasteless to eat, and it is a pity to throw it away. Su Ming does not expect to be rated 5A at once, and it is good to be rated 4A. To be fair, not only Su Ming thinks so, Lao He also hopes that there will be a 4A scenic spot in his jurisdiction. If he can make the decision, he will be happy to give the zoo 5A directly. A 5A scenic spot can well boost the economy and solve employment. However, the current hardware conditions of the zoo do not meet the standards for 4A. The zoo scenic area includes the original zoo animal area scenic area, the protection area of the back mountain, and the fishery area of the reservoir and the Dashan wine industry area. Although there are small attractions such as hot springs and ancient tombs in the back mountain, most of them are still under construction, and even the roads have not been completely repaired. The only one that is in normal operation is Gyeozianju. After the construction of Gyeozianju was completed, it was very distinctive with its ancient flavor. Not only did the number of tourists increase sharply, it became a signature attraction of the zoo, and even several film and television companies took scenes in Gyeozianju. The shape of Gyeozianju is a miniature ancient paradise village. It is very suitable for shooting a large panoramic view of costume films. Since it is a zoo scenic area, it can not only have architectural attractions, but must still focus on animals. At present, the types and numbers of animals in the zoo are only second-rate and above in the country, and there is still a distance from the first class. Although Su Ming has been constantly developing new projects and introducing many rare animals in the past year, the zoo's funds are sufficient to raise more animals, but because the zoo's previous foundation was too weak, it is still a long way from the first-class zoo. To give the most intuitive comparison example, Shuzhong Zoo and Shanghai Wild Animal Park are both national first-class zoos. These two are 4A, but have never been rated 5A. Communicating with the leaders of the two zoos in the group, the zoo's 5A rating is basically a matter of hopelessness for a widow and her son. Lao He patiently analyzed each point with Su Ming. It was not that he did not support it, but that the zoo was indeed not qualified at present. It was okay to be unqualified, just work towards being qualified. Su Ming asked, "What can we do? Can the zoo meet the standards as soon as possible? Either the number and species of animals have increased significantly, or, the zoo has formed a unique cultural phenomenon." Lao He paused for a few seconds and smiled, "But, I'm afraid it's too late this time. Whether it's the increase of animals or the formation of culture, it's not something that can be done in a short time. Forming a unique culture, this kind of thing is easy to say but difficult to do. Through the live broadcast platform, the zoo has already had some unique cultural atmosphere of its own, but it is not enough to be awarded 5A by exception." What Lao He said makes sense. Su Ming thought about it. In this matter, there is no need for the competent department to block the zoo. It is also a good thing for the Tourism Bureau if the zoo can be rated as a higher-level scenic spot. Since Lao He has said so much, I'm afraid there is really no hope for a while. It is better to have one rabbit in hand than to have thousands of sheep in sight. It is better to get 3A first and then find a way. After chatting with Lao He for more than an hour, the application for 3A was finalized. Many kinds of materials were needed. He left a staff member to cooperate with the zoo office to sort out the materials. Su Ming returned the favor and personally sent Director He to the gate of the zoo. After returning, he had to deal with Wang Hao's meeting and the spiritual civilization model. For the spiritual civilization model, Su Ming had 3 candidates in mind at the beginning: Wang Hao, Sister Tong, and Shen Yan. Wang Hao has the deepest friendship with me and has worked with me for the longest time. In terms of merit and qualifications, he is sufficient. But Wang Hao's identity is a bit sensitive. His father is a big leader. If he is selected, it is hard to say what others think. Besides, he went to the capital to attend the meeting on behalf of me and showed his face, so he can be ruled out. As for Sister Tong, she has worked in the zoo for half her life, and she works diligently. I dare not say that she has made great contributions, but she has worked hard enough. Like a housekeeper, she manages the internal affairs of the zoo in an orderly manner. However, it is precisely because she has worked in the zoo for half her life, she is old and has seen a lot of the world, so she may not be very enthusiastic about this kind of honorary title. There are not many female comrades of her age who have this title, and it is not a big deal if she does not have it. If she is allowed to choose, it would be better to raise her salary by one level. But Shenyan is different. First, Shenyan and Su Ming are about the same age, both are young people, and they are more eager for honor. Second, his previous computer company was a small business, and there was no hope of winning the city-level honor. For him, it is better to give him honor than a bonus of tens of thousands of yuan. Third, Shenyan is indeed very capable. Whether it is technology, work attitude, or leadership ability, Su Ming is satisfied. He is a talent worth cultivating and can be independent in the future. Young people who work hard like him hope to make money, but at the same time, they also hope to be recognized. So after weighing the pros and cons, Su Ming finally decided to give the title of Model of Spiritual Civilization to Shenyan. As for Su Ming himself, the title of Model of Spiritual Civilization in the city no longer meant anything to him. As expected, after hearing the news, Shenyan's face, which was usually expressionless like a circuit board, showed obvious excitement. "Old Shen, can you be more promising? You are just a model." Su Ming patted Shenyan on the shoulder and joked. "Mr. Su," Shenyan didn't know what to say, and finally choked out a sentence, "You know, I didn't even get an outstanding student in college." Su Ming knew a little about Shenyan's college experience. His family was in a difficult situation. He spent his college years researching technology and working part-time to earn money. He rarely interacted with the student union and school teachers. He was not the kind of nerd who only studied and took exams. He had strong skills but average grades. So although he had strong abilities, he did not get any honors or awards after a few years, and he did not even join the party. He did not say it, but he felt very frustrated. "I almost forgot. Let's just do your party admission this time. I'll be the introducer. When you go back, write an application. Sister Tong is the party branch secretary of the park. You can ask her for the specific procedures. Don't forget to submit reports every month," Su Ming said. Shenyan is in technology, Wang Hao is in marketing, Zhao Yun is a network, and Liang Shi, who is responsible for the stable income of the reservoir, are all Su Ming's most valuable wealth resources. Shenyan went happily, and Wang Hao was next. "Old Wang, when you go to the live broadcast platform meeting this time, bring a male comrade from Shenyan's data analysis group to discuss the industry convention. It will be more credible with detailed and scientific data as support. In addition, bring a male comrade from the network anchors. They are front-line staff and the most directly affected group of people after the convention is formulated. It is very necessary to listen to their opinions." "Why are they all male comrades?" "I am not a male comrade, why bring two men?" Wang Hao said depressedly. "Stop talking nonsense, you are talking about cross-stock. Why bring two men? I will explain to you later." Su Ming glared and talked about business first. "Remember, at the meeting, you must remember a big principle." "What principle?" "Is it to completely nail boiling and not let them have any chance to turn over?" Wang Hao asked. "That's what I want to say. The matter of boiling ends here. You must remember that you should not say a word about any discussion about the boiling platform at the meeting, let alone add insult to injury," Su Ming said. "Ah. Why is that?" Wang Hao was puzzled. "A big platform like Fei Teng has financial backers behind it. It is almost impossible to completely nail it down. At most, they can just register a new company and change their appearance. Besides, what good will it do for us to nail Fei Teng down and make it a life and death struggle? It is completely meaningless. This time, our goal has been achieved. There is no need to make enemies with the financial backers behind Fei Teng, and there is no need to offend the financial backers behind all the live broadcast platforms. This is what I want to emphasize to you. Yeah, you said. Wang Hao was stunned, as if he understood something vaguely, but he didn't understand it completely. Just remember that we are a member of the online live broadcast platform. This time, the incident with Fei Teng was just a counterattack because we were forced to do nothing. The goal has been achieved. We don't want to kill them all. Not only Fei Teng, but also Daowin Entertainment, don't want to have similar unpleasantness with any of our peers again, Su Ming said. Shen Yan took the technical route, while Wang Hao took the standard market route. He was absolutely experienced in human relations. When Su Ming mentioned it lightly, he immediately understood Su Ming's intention. Oh, I understand. We want to let other internet companies in the country know that the reason why we attacked Fei Teng this time is a private conflict between the two platforms. Fei Teng attacked us first, so we dealt with it. It's a pure commercial struggle to prevent other platforms from feeling sad and joining forces to deal with us. Yes, that's what I mean, Su Ming said. Don't worry, I know what to say in public, Wang Hao laughed. Also, hasn't accountant Peng always wanted to go to the capital to play? Su Ming suddenly talked about an irrelevant topic. Well, what's wrong? I said, can you pay more attention to the girl? Take her with you this time, and travel at public expense. Su Ming poked Wang Hao's fat belly. I feel relieved to have someone take care of you. We've been in bed together, why don't I care? No wonder you want me to bring a man, Wang Hao shrugged. Come on, I'll take my future father-in-law, your Master Peng, with me. Okay, Su Ming nodded. Master Peng is old, and what he worries about most is his daughter, Accountant Xiao Peng. Su Ming will help if he can create some opportunities. Old employees like Master Peng feel at ease, and with fewer worries, the zoo will be more stable and united. Next, let's go see the big-bellied panda. Super Zoo. Author, Yin Seg Nian Bai. Chapter 430. The panda house is in the northeast corner of the zoo, in a small forest less than 100 meters away from the Bear Mountain. After Su Ming left the office, he habitually whistled at the door of the building. After waiting for several seconds, he didn't see the lion dragon running out as usual. Then he suddenly remembered that this guy and Deku Ihuo were doing restorative training under Tony's command. Tony is usually quite unreliable. When he has free time, he either goes to restaurants to buy Chinese food or pretends that his Chinese is not very good, strolls around the zoo, and practices oral with female tourists. In fact, his Chinese is fluent. When he talks to Su Ming, he speaks standard Hong Kong Mandarin. Fortunately, he is handsome. Although he likes to chat with pretty girls, he doesn't do anything obscene and vulgar. He can still abide by the gentleman's demeanor. He has attracted many girls who come to the zoo to play. He has almost become a human landscape in the zoo. It is said that the small woods behind Minkingju have almost formed a professional English corner. Every Friday night, many female college students come from the city and gather in the woods to practice speaking. In view of this, Su Ming gave Tony two strict orders. First, it is okay to practice speaking, but don't turn it into practicing, the zoo can't afford this. Tony. Second, no matter how beautiful the female college students are, they still have to pay for admission. Because foreigners' aesthetics are different from those of Chinese people, sometimes even opposite, Su Ming deliberately added that ugly ones have to buy tickets to enter. Tony still. But once it comes to professional work such as horse training, Tony seems to have changed a person. He has set a very strict recovery training plan. He gets up earlier than the horses and goes to bed later than the horses every day. The two horses are now under his full responsibility. Even if Su Ming wants to ride them, he has to greet Tony in advance and make an appointment. The second brother and the second pig originally wanted to follow the two friends to the pony farm to broaden their horizons, but were coldly rejected by Tony. This feeling is like when a parent finds out that his son, who is a top student, and his two friends who are poor students and are at the bottom of the exams, and ruthlessly tells the two little bastards to get out. The two wild boars felt despised and were very depressed. They hid in the back mountain all day, digging holes to find food and growing fat. Su Ming had no mount in the park, so he could only wave to stop a tour bus and sit on it with one leg. Pleasant goat, itchy eggs, beautiful goat. I don't know if the sound effect of the tour bus horn is not good, or the singer's tongue is not straight. Every time he sings lazy goat, it always sounds like itchy eggs. There are also a few children sitting in the car, singing innocently along with the sound of the horn, which makes Su Ming feel itchy and scratch his pants subconsciously. Slowly drove towards the panda house. The live broadcast of the panda house has been closed, and it is only open for 3 hours a day. When Su Ming arrived, the opening time just ended. A group of tourists left the panda house, and the keeper Xiao Li was preparing to close the door. Director. Seeing Su Ming, Xiao Li put down his work and came to meet him. Let's talk inside. Su Ming winked at Xiao Li. Understood, Xiao Li winked, and the two sneaked into the panda house and slammed the door. The news of the panda's pregnancy could not be leaked, otherwise Hong Kong would get the news and would definitely take Lele back immediately. Su Ming made up his mind to give birth secretly first. The two pandas had to be returned, and the panda baby had to be left to me. The pregnant Lele had moved into the air-conditioned room. Su Ming couldn't help laughing when he saw it through the large floor-to-ceiling glass. The embryo of a panda is very small. A newly born panda is about the same size as a mouse, so there is no change in the size of the mother panda from conception to delivery. The pregnancy period of several months will not cause any obstacles to the mother panda's movement. But Lele in the air-conditioned room was like a pregnant woman who was 10 months pregnant. She was lying on her back and lazily leaning on a large straw sofa in the corner. There were many fruits and a bucket of watermelons scattered on the ground beside it. Lele would occasionally grab some food and stuff it into his mouth. After eating it, he would lie there motionless again. Since he moved into the air-conditioned room and his treatment has improved, he has become so lazy that he is about to get maggots, said the breeder Xiao Li. Fortunately, he ate fruits and bamboo with high fiber content, otherwise, after a few months of pregnancy, this guy would probably be fatter than the second brother. It is not so easy to lose weight and regain his body shape after giving birth. Don't worry about it. Animals know what is best for themselves. Just have the veterinarian come to check it regularly every day, Su Ming said. The other panda Yingying did not receive such good treatment. Pandas are creatures that live very freely. They do not have the same concept of children as other animals. They only care about their own happiness. In order to prevent it from affecting the pregnant Lele, it was not allowed to enter the air-conditioned room. On hot days, there was no place to cool off. It could only sit in the pool and dangle its paws in the water out of boredom. Seeing Su Ming coming, Yingying was too lazy to climb out of the pool. She waved her wet big paw at Su Ming from a distance as a greeting. Although pandas are fat and clumsy, they actually like to play very much. Lele was depressed because of pregnancy and didn't want to play with it. Su Ming couldn't bring it with him all day. Yingying looked lonely and pitiful sitting in the water. After thinking about it, she suddenly had an idea and turned to ask the keeper Xiao Li, "Do you think it's okay to put pandas and bears together?" Ah, Xiao Li scratched his ears, thinking he had heard it wrong. They are all bears anyway. Su Ming said to himself, just like you and Tony, although they are from different nationalities, they are both human beings. Xiao Li originally thought that Su Ming was just asking casually, but from what he said, it seemed that he was really going to do it. Xiao Li's temples were throbbing, and he quickly explained, Director, that's different. You can't compare humans with animals. Even if you put two black bears of the same order and class together, they will definitely fight at the beginning. What's more, pandas and black bears. For example, leopards are cats, and so are tigers. What will happen if you put them together? That's not necessarily true. Su Ming stroked his chin back and forth, looking at Lele in the pool, and smiled strangely. Xiao Li saw him like this and knew that it was going to be bad. His heart skipped a beat, and he was so depressed that he wanted to cry. Director, can you not think about it one by one? This is a panda. Although they are both bears, if they really fight, how can they be the opponent of the big black bear next door? Even the little black bear may not be able to beat it. Whether it's a panda or a black bear, if anything goes wrong with either of them, it will be a big accident. Director, can we not make a fuss? Xiao Li advised with a sad face. He just wanted to be a keeper quietly. This request is not too much, right? Why is it so difficult? It's idle anyway. Look at it, it has nothing to do all day, and it's going to get sick. Su Ming seriously hooked his finger at Yingying in the water. Seeing this, Yingying knew that Su Ming was going to find her funny things again. She climbed up the shore, shook off the water drops all over her body, trotted over, looked up and looked at Su Ming expectantly. Su Ming pinched her belly and asked with a smile, Yingying, Uncle will take you to play, okay? Woof woof woof. Yingying opened her big mouth and shouted happily.